My name is Keaton Gerard. I'm your customer care representative here at GroupLink, and we have a great presentation lined up for you today. We're very excited about the webinar, so let's hop right into it. Before we get to the presentations, we'd like to remind you about our thank you program. Tell a friend about the Everything Help Desk. You'll get $50 when they receive a demo and $200 if they purchase. You can send referrals to info@grouplink.net, or you can always call 801-335-0700. You can visit our website for more details on that. We'd also like to tell you about the Sky Central Portal beta. You can sign up to beta test the Sky Central Portal, which I believe we talked about last month, at skycentral.com/signup. And Amy, we can throw that into the chat box, if you will. We're going to throw that link into the chat box. So we'd love to have you beta test it for us, and you should be receiving it now if you're interested in that. Okay, we have two presenters today. The first is Aaron Marr. He's a PC support specialist at Legacy Partners. One of our customers is very kind of him to present for us, and he's going to do a fantastic job, and we're very grateful to him for doing that. Also, Catherine Thomas will present after Aaron. She's our customer care manager here at GroupLink. These are the things we'll be covering today, and we'd like to remind you that at the end, we always have time for a Q&A session, and so go ahead and feel free to submit your questions during the presentation, and we will answer them at the end. And we'd like to remind you, just like always, please submit your questions to the Q&A box instead of the chat box. Makes it much easier for us to make sure that every question gets answered. So please feel free to submit any question you have to the Q&A box, and we will answer those at the end. Now, at this time, we're going to pass the ball over to Aaron. Hello, Aaron. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Awesome, awesome. All right.
Here you go.
All right, let me get this set up here so I can share my screen. I'm not not allowing me to share it right. There we go. All right. So basically, my company I work for, Legacy Partners, we're a commercial and residential real estate management company. I do a lot of the IT work for them. I'm currently based out of Foster City. I worked for these guys for about the last 8 years, and we decided to come up with a ticketing management system to be able to help us alleviate our email congestion of how many tickets we were getting thrown in our email box. So we went to GroupLink and we got together and we did a customization of how we perceive we want to do our day-to-day business. So we have a little knowledge base. We've set up some basic stuff. This is our main web page. One of the first users come into. Any type of new user outside of the company can add a user account and submit a ticket to us. If they can't send us an email internally or something like that, they can easily hop in and create a ticket. We've set that up. We've got the knowledge base here. Got a few different knowledge base articles on how to share your calendar, add accounts in Outlook, some basic things that keep the users from creating more tickets, and they can at least resolve the issue by themselves. And there are a few different groups that we have that can be assigned to a specific, knowledge base article could be assigned to a specific group. So you can have a bunch of different things. As you can tell, we have a cell phone department. We have a commercial, American Contractor, Nexus, and Yardi. Those are kind of like our accounting departments. They do a lot of our billing and that sort of thing. And there's quite a few, so we have quite a few technician licenses set up for those type of users. Then we have our IT group that does all this application software support, any type of general and hardware. Our intranet manager manages this account. We have another on-base program for approvals on upper management level, Outlook issues, phones, and then we go to our residential, like billing, their website, stuff, any type of residential user ad chain access, and then again, some more different accounting softwares, because we have a couple different properties that use in a different accounting software than another property. So we decided, all right, well, we're allowed 100 groups. Let's just make every department a specific group that's going to be involved in this. So basically, that was, I guess that's the basic gist of how we decided to structure all of our groups within EHC. So when a new user goes and creates a new ticket, the first thing that they're going to be prompted for is what group are they going to be able to access. Oh, it looks like let me get back in here. I think I might need to log in. So the first user, they're going to be prompted. So most of the time, they're going to hit my department for first call, first level of support. They're going to pick like a general support group. The user contact information is going to be filled in. They're allowed to change their property of where they're located, their location. They are able to change their address and information if they go and hop in like a different user account. So then you can pick a category, and they have a whole different options of picking categories: password resets, properties moves, setups, relocation, users, add, edit, terminations, virus, spyware, wireless problems. If they need FTP access or file restore. We've also set up, we tried to make it as simple as possible for the users. So we try not to creating too many subcategories. So we have a few that, like this file restore, it creates, a couple different assignments, like custom tabs, if you will, and we can just set that up right now. I'll just go ahead and put it in there. And our network location, let's say it was on the E drive on financials or something, or fan days. And then like file name was fan. And then they type in the subject, restore. Hey, please can you restore my file? And then they go ahead and just submit the ticket. So basically, the ticket's going to come in. There's a couple of options. So right now, the ticket is to be determined for a priority level. We've set up a couple different priority levels in our help desk. So the default level, when the user first submits it, it's going to be to be determined. Now, all the technicians have the option to select a different severity level for a specific issue. So if we got to schedule something, we have a scheduled option. If we think, well, this can wait till the end of the week, I can put a set severity 5. If I think it needs to be done and within 2 hours, I can assign a severity 1 to it. Then the technician has the option to, assign, the type of status so the user knows what where his ticket is in the process. So I can say it's being worked in process. I'm going to have an estimated completion date of the 16th. I can save the changes. And there's a couple different options what you can do right here. You can add any type of attachment. I can take a little snippet option. Oops. I'll take this over. Go to my other screen here. My little snipping tool. So if the user has any type of issue, they can obviously just go ahead and take a little snippet and email it to us. So I'm going to go ahead and save this ticket and add it to the nice little, so I'm going to browse. If the user's like, well, I'm having this issue, I can't really explain it. Here's a picture. So that's one of the easiest ways, you know, what I really like about EHC is that, you know, the user can easily just hop in here and then just go ahead and then put in a nice little ticket. So, and then you can also determine if you really want to like CC somebody, or if somebody's already been CC on the ticket, you can check the checkbox and it'll go ahead and send whoever's in the CC field either here or in the back of the main ticket. There's a CC and blind copy field also. So, and they won't be notified unless that's checked. And same with the user, and same with the technician. That's one of the things that EHD created on one of their latest fixes out. And so I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and send this to myself, pretty much. This is that's how I have the ticket set up. Go ahead and save it, and then we can go ahead and see this ticket come in our queue. I got the way I have our queue set up. So I'm going to go back over here, log in. So basically, this area right here is fully customizable to whatever group and amount of information you want to be able to see on these tickets. So basically, on this group that's owned by me, it's anything that's open, it equals not closed, it can't be canceled, it can't be resolved, anything that's open, anything that I have going on currently, I can obviously just see right in my ticket queue. Everything has a priority level. As you can tell, some are yellow, some are red, some are blue. It's just basically assigned to our color coding of what we assign to those specific priorities. Then you can see over on the far left side, there's a little paper clip. And so that's basically just telling us that there's an attachment on the ticket. The same thing with a little red flag. It says that, well, that ticket needs attention. Somebody's commented to it. It needs to be looked at. So I can go ahead and look at it. It's a Fox Crossing phone. They're looking for a phone. They're pending approval, that sort of thing. You also have options to do like how much time you're working on a ticket. So there's, let me go back over here to my little restore file here. I could say when I start working on this ticket, when I first open it up, I go right up here and I can just hit play, and this will be the amount of time. So this is just another way to be able to track more information with the reporting. And then, you know, you can go ahead and hit stop, and then it's almost done. You also have an option of creating a PDF of the ticket. It'll go ahead and copy everything down within the ticket, create a nice little PDF for you of all the information, do like a little audit of what's been going on, who did all the comments for you. It's pretty detailed, and if you need to have a quick fly and be able to send a ticket to somebody, it's definitely a nice way to do it. There's also a ticket search right up here. You can enter in any ticket number and be able to search for that specific ticket. Now, it does have a little bit more capabilities also. You can do searches for like specific items like phones, or, you know, you can tell us all of our different tickets that we have that were based on like phones being in the subject line, something wrong going on with phones. Or you can go to a specific ticket number. It's like 65892. I don't know if that's an actual ticket. Probably not. Here, let me find another one. Get back here. So let's do 3425. Okay, so there we go. It picked up our nice little ticket here. That was ticket number 3425. And then basically you can just go ahead and click right on it, and then bam, you're right in the ticket. Everything seems to be really nice. And you can also, like anything old that's been closed, you can you get the option to convert it into an article. So it you can kind of you do have that ability also. And we have how our EHD is set up. You may have I have some questions going already, but the way it's set up through LDAP and Active Directory. So anytime when any of our users change their password, it's easily propagated over to this server. Our server, it's an in-house server, so we manage it ourselves. I have to upgrade it whenever there's any new fixes coming out. So there is just a little bit of management going on, and I think EHD has an option of that they can do in-house. They can manage the server for them also. But we decided that we wanted it in-house. So there are a few different things that end up coming with being in-house. Is you have a database and you have the server. So sometimes we've noticed, well, you can it's probably better to keep them separated. So we have our database sitting on a different server and our EHD sitting on another server. I can kind of show you in the settings here about the LDAP and just the naming convention and how it integrates. And then there's also how the email, anybody sends us an email to a specific our support at legacypartners.com, it's going to pull that from Outlook and go ahead and create a ticket for us. We also have a couple other ones set up here. We have one for our cell phones department and one for our other accounting department. So when they send it into the accounting department, it doesn't actually come into my queue. It goes into the Yardi queue. So you can use multiple mailboxes, and it'll keep searching on as you can tell over here on the right-hand side, these little dots going, it means it's turned on right now. And I can go into here and kind of show you it's this IMAP and server. It's basic stuff on how you set it up. Then here's the database connection. So like I was saying, we're connected to another database on a different server. And then once you get done like setting it up, you do have to add your licenses and everything like that. You can easily place to tell that how many licenses you got current, how many licenses that you're using right now, and that sort of thing. You can easily browse and upload licenses from right here in this location. The groups now, we started creating a whole bunch of we've kind of re-customized our help desk a couple times, and right now, as you can see some that say old, because there's some older stuff that we had been using, and some of them aren't even active. So you can see this one says false, true, false. So this member support is not active anymore. So that's another thing what you can do is you can have some that are active or some groups that aren't active. You can kind of customize it the way how you see fit. And we always been kind of doing it. It's a work in progress. So there's always something else to add, or there's somebody else brings something up and you got to add something real quick. And it makes it pretty easy when you can go into these permissions and kind of edit. Let's do this. I want to say custom. Here, I think custom's the better way to go. This kind of shows you what kind of groups we got, what kind of assignments are set up. These are kind of like our customized things that we have. So basically, if they say it's cell phones group, well, field's going to pop up and it's going to request for the cell phone number. That's another. If they say cell phones with the category option of device activation, it's going to prompt for a cell phone number. some of the our custom fields that we have. I kind of go back over here to groups. So here's all of our different groups that we have. As you can tell, there's definitely a lot of them. And you can always go through and do custom filtering and see just by going through the actual group or the technician and just kind of applying the filter and looking like that and creating an assignment for them. It's kind of a broad overview of what we have going on right now. I would say there's not really much else that we use this for. We do use the template option, like when we create a new user account, an email goes and gets forwarded off. So let's say I get the first ticket and I complete it, and then a new ticket is created and sent to our other department that needs to create a user account for that same user, and then it kind of goes on and so forth. So user accounts, a user needs access to this, and this, and that, and well, this and that is a totally different department than that other password. So that's kind of the way how we set up the assignments is for specific trigger items like that. There is a scheduler. We don't really use that. The user accounts, I'll get right into here real fast. Basically, you do have the option to add users with their email address. You get their username. You can import from LDAP once it's after it's set up. It only syncs one way. So if they change their password here, it's not going to change their password in Active Directory. It may just change your password back. So that's one of the things that it only goes one way. It's a one-way sync. It's not. It doesn't go back and forth. The other thing I would say is we got the new ticket. We got the knowledge base. I'd say that's almost kind of how we use the HelpDesk ticketing management system. I guess I can hand it over to Catherine, and she can kind of go on farther from that.
Okay. I thought Keaton was going to come back on, but I will go ahead and take it from there. Thanks, Aaron. Aaron, I asked him to present last week, and so it's kind of last minute for him. So thank you for showing everyone how your company uses the help desk. You kind of have a lot of detail compared to what I'm going to show. We decided to do this webinar, so in case any customers were planning on making changes over the summer or just revamping their help desk, maybe taking a different angle. And what Aaron showed you was how detailed their company is, spread across different locations, a lot of different groups, and how things are routed that way. I'm going to show you a few different scenarios, one coming from an education standpoint, if you had students per se that might be your first level of support. We've had some customers that they have a few students that work with the IT department, and they filter out some of the things that they might be able to fix over the phone, and it's just a class that they incorporate at school. So I am going to go ahead and show you that scenario. I'm sharing my desktop right now, so hopefully when it comes up for me, you'll be able to see it too. Okay, and I guess I don't even have that. Oh, there it is. Okay, first I'm just going to show you how I set this up. Now I'm using the same test database for both of the scenarios that I have today, so you'll see two different groups there. I tried to make it just as simple as possible so that it wasn't confusing with all of the different testing that we do. And so what I initially did is I, of course, set up my group, and we're going to, with the students here, the group is going to be this tech services group. And so I've got a lot of different category options, because not only would the students be entering tickets on ones that maybe they couldn't fix or whoever calls into the help desk, but end users would be submitting them as well. So the categories and category options would be something that they can go ahead and select and categorize their ticket. And so if you're not in education and you don't want to look at this as a student viewpoint, you can look at it as a help desk as well. A lot of companies will just have a help desk that might do level 1 support, and then it needs to be passed on after that. So when I say student, it could also be a help desk employee. Now, if you look here on the right-hand side, I've made some different assignments here in this group. My 2 students are going to be workflow participants. And the reason that they're workflow participants is when somebody calls in to them, they'll either fix the problem on the phone and therefore not log a ticket, or they will log a ticket on behalf of the person that they're speaking to and make the assignment from there. A workflow participant can put tickets in for anybody in the group or whoever's calling in, and they can make the assignments themselves. What they can't do is be the technician. They can't be the person in the assignment field. So that's the difference between the workflow technician, or I'm sorry, the workflow participant and the technician itself. So in this particular example, we have the 2 students, and then we have 4 different technicians here. So I'm going to log in as a student. So what they would do is come in, and this is what they're going to see. Of course, because they're a user, they're going to get the 2 tabs of Owned by Me and My Closed Tickets. But what I've also done is anything that goes into the ticket pool, I want those students to be able to monitor and just make the assignments. So I've created just a tab here for them so that they'll see everything that comes into the ticket pool. So they would just come here, we've all seen this, and go ahead and make the assignment. Now this particular one, looks like I didn't add it. I have some assignments auto-routed, so let's say hardware, and it was a boot problem, it would go right to this technician. I just didn't make a group assignment, but what it should show is on that ticket is instead of just the ticket pool, they would see all of the technicians in order to make the assignment. So, but what they will do if they're, somebody calls in to them, they would just go ahead and select the group here. You know, I just need to change one permission. See how they're not having access to change the contact person? I'm going to change that because we obviously would want them to be able to put the correct contact in there. Sorry about that. So under the change contact, I'm just going to go ahead and add in workflow participant. This will make it so that a typical end user wouldn't be able to change the contact. And I'm just going to, while I'm in here, fix that assignment piece that I left out. Okay, now it should look right. So here on this one, because I didn't have any assignments, notice how now I added that technician. I would go ahead and add all of them so that they could assign it to the appropriate person. So that was just the change that I made there. But as far as submitting a new ticket now, we're going to go ahead and select Tech Services again. And so they can come in here and just go ahead and select the end user, whoever they're speaking with on the phone. And then they're just going to proceed and fill the ticket out. They're going to select a category. And if you have all of your assignments set up beforehand, then you don't need your students to make those assignments for you. So if the issue is a hardware problem and it's a boot problem, the assignment will automatically fill in for them. And so they don't necessarily have to know all of the technicians and exactly what they do. You can have those assignments pre-populated. And so they're just going to type here on the subject, I don't know, whatever it may be here. And then they'll just submit it. And so it's just making it so that the student can log in, submit tickets on behalf of other people. Now there's one other thing that I did here, because a lot of times when you're calling into a help desk or you see or hear the same problem over and over and over. And so rather than submit those tickets and type it in each and every time, I did make a template here so that the student could just come in and launch that template, and all they're going to do is change the contact person and attach their location. And so now, instead of typing out that entire ticket, they can just go ahead and launch that, and it's done. And so if there are certain things that, or even things that you don't want those students to touch, like say it's a network issue, they're not going to be able to fix that, you can create templates, and they can just go ahead and launch those, just to make it a little bit more foolproof when those students are using your help desk. And then they will just go ahead and launch to the appropriate technician. So that's one scenario that when in education, when they have students helping them, it's just a way to get the students in, limit their permissions, of course, and have them be that first line of support for you. So the next scenario I'm going to show is going to be the email the ticket feature. This is, a lot of people use this, but if you want to just use it like the bare minimum, you don't want your end users to log into the help desk. You just want them to be able to send an email because for some reason, sometimes logging in and taking those extra steps is a little bit of a learning curve, and end users have issues with that. So what I'm going to show you here, and I'm actually going to come to my other screen. So I'm just the end user. This is my Yahoo email, and I need to submit a ticket. I just need to see the address because I forgot what it was. So they would go ahead and send it to the address that you have set up. And Erin showed you how they had a few different ones for different groups. And you can go ahead and set up different incoming addresses. So if you have one group that might be human resources or transportation or maintenance versus your IT group, then they can go ahead and submit those emails to maybe maintenance at GroupLink or transportation, just so that you know the difference. And they're going to obviously go to different people. So I'm just going to go ahead and submit this. And so you notice all I'm typing in is the subject and the body of the email, and I'm just going to send that off. Now, over here on the help desk side of it, what the technician would see is this is what it will look like when it comes across. Now, obviously, the end user, when they're just submitting an email, they're not going to have the opportunity to select a category or a category option. And so if you don't want any categories or category options, you don't need them. Notice I made it so that these are not required. And so even as the technician, I don't have to fill that out when I come into it. So what this did is it took my name, and if you notice the email address, that was just my secondary Gmail one, assigned it right to the ticket pool. And so if you have, like here at GroupLink, we have 2 people in support. And so rather than auto-route things to them, we send everything to the ticket pool. So the email the ticket goes right to the ticket pool, but yet we can notify certain people. And so in getting the notification, I can log in and look at it and either fix it myself or make the appropriate assignment. So if this is something that somebody else needed to fix, then I would just go ahead and make that assignment and then save it. And then this technician would be notified that it's been assigned to them. But what I wanted to show you here is I typed in the phone issues or phone as the subject of the email. And then what I typed in the body appears right here in the note. So that's all the information that's going to come across. But it's simple and easy for the end user because they're just simply submitting that email. Now on their end of it, this is actually one that I did prior. This is the ticket, this is the email that they're going to receive, letting them know that that ticket has been submitted. And so they get it right back into their regular account, and this is the information that's there. So what I want to show you now is how I set that up. I probably should have started that way. But the email the ticket feature, you can just make it very simple for your end users to just submit that email, and they can communicate through their regular email, not ever having to log into the system, and all of that information is going to be in the history comments on the ticket. So you as the technician will still be able to see all that even though your end user isn't actually logging into the program. So I'm just going to log in as the admin user here and show you how I set that up. So under the groups, I just named this one email the ticket. But what I did here is I didn't make the category and category option required. You could still do that, and you could set them up and have your technicians categorize the tickets after they initially came in, which would help for your reporting purposes. But if you don't need it categorized, you can go ahead and leave that off. And because I left it off, I didn't set up any categories or category options. So even logged in as the technician, I wouldn't have a selection to make there. And so then the other thing I did here is I added my 2 technicians that work on this group, and then I also have myself as the manager. But me being the manager and me being the one that wanted to make the assignments, I came here to the ticket pool and made sure that I was getting the notification so that anytime anything went to the ticket pool, I would get a notification as well. So as far as that one is concerned, it's just a simple, easy way to utilize the help desk and put all of your tickets in one place and have one person make the assignments, or you could even have multiple people if you wanted. But anytime, just remember when you're using the email the ticket feature, they are all going to go to the ticket pool, and then somebody that logs into the ticket pool would just go ahead and disperse those. Or work on them themselves. Like I said, here at GroupLink, we have 2 people in support, and they just log in and they assign tickets to themselves. You know, if it needs to go up a level, then they, of course, would make that assignment. But they're just constantly logged into it, and it's getting refreshed, and they're making those changes that way. So the 2 scenarios that I showed are a little bit more generic than the one that Aaron showed. His was the way that they utilize it is very detailed. And if you have any questions, I think Aaron is still on the line if he needs to answer those. Or if you have any questions for me, you can go ahead and ask those as well. So right now, I'm just going to turn the time back over to Keaton.